I'm Tom Hayes, Director of Customer and Community Relations for New Jersey Natural Gas, and your host for SCAN's Community Connections. This program, we like to get out there and meet up with some of our nonprofit organizations that are doing great things in the community. Today, we're very fortunate to have Nancy Phalanukorn, right? Phalanukorn?
Phalanukorn.
Okay, who's the Executive Director of the Family Resource Associates. And I really want to thank you for being here and talk to us today about the I guess it's the TECHConnection program that you have, right?
Yes,
okay.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course, it's our pleasure.
Yeah, great.
So tell us a little bit about the organization.
Well, we are celebrating our 35th year, which is a long time, and it's an organization that evolved out of infant services for infants with developmental disabilities. And we are one of the 3 oldest in the state. It's an agency that's very responsive to families, so the family component is one of the more unique features. We include grandparents, we include siblings, we include parents, fathers, so that our services are not just to the child, but it's also to the total family, which makes us a little bit different. And in over time evolving, in listening to the needs of those families, we moved from starting out with just serving birth to 8-year-old children. Then we started recreation services long before the park systems, and then we started preschool handicap services long before the schools were doing any of that, and then went on to adult services, and then again responding to the responsiveness of families. One of the families said, "My daughter is so impaired, can't you do something with computers?" And that was in the mid-'80s, and actually some of the SCAN volunteers came and helped us, those from AT&T, to develop some interesting computer programs, and from that evolved into our TECHConnection program.
Gotcha. So that's the actual demonstration center? Is that part of the demonstration center?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we had some SCAN folks out there to help you develop it when you were putting that all together. That's great. And how long ago was that?
Actually, the TECHConnection itself started as a center in 1988. We are one of 42 nationally recognized centers for assistive technology computers. It's not general computers teaching Word or something like that. It's for all of the special needs kinds of things that anyone might come across needing. So whether it's a toddler who has a developmental disability, or today we're serving seniors who, you know, they may have shaky hands, or someone who has ALS, or someone who is losing their sight, losing their hearing, things like that. Those would all be, there's just so many devices and alternatives out there that we can help people with. So that's sort of what we've evolved into at that TECHConnection Center.
Gotcha. Now, are there specific programs that you do? I know you just mentioned some of the folks you help, but are there specific programs that you run there?
It's been very interesting. When we first started in 1988 and 89, assistive technology and computer technology for people with disabilities or those who had special needs was totally unheard of. So we were providing a lot of the services in the schools. We were going into nursing homes. We were doing things that people had no clue about, and we were the highly trained specialists. Of course, today, where your phone actually has, your cell phone actually has some of the software that was developed 20 years ago, which is speech recognition, which was a $16,000 program when it first came out.
Amazing,
Today
right?
it's on everybody's cell phone. But moving from that kind of evaluations in the schools, evaluations of people who may have had a stroke or things like that, going into the schools and training their staff, that was a lot of our work. 8 years ago, we really saw a huge change. We were doing a lot more in the way of alternative communication devices, and then about 3 years ago, with the advent of the iPad, even that disappeared, because now you get a lot of those speech devices on the iPad through apps. However, we do have classes that we started 8 years ago for our young adults with developmental disabilities. They were sitting at home with nothing to do, and we realized, oh my gosh, you know, there's so much that can be done with a computer. And so there are actually 30 different classes that we offer Weekly classes, there are 2 different classes a day, and we have 3 satellite locations, one in Shrewsbury, one in Eatontown, and now just opened one in Brick.
Excellent.
And with those kinds of services, that's really taking up a lot of our time as things have shifted. And then we do expos for seniors and out in the community to show them what kind of technology is out there.
That's great. So you mentioned your seniors,
Yeah.
and you mentioned a little bit about some of the program, but are there other things that you do with your senior population?
Well, you know, we have a lending library.
Great.
So that, you know, seniors, there are just so many kinds of devices, assistive technology it's called, but there's adapted devices that people can get. And we are a demonstration center and an access center, so people can come in for free. They can try out. If you're losing your vision, we have things that on the computer can increase your ability to read things on the computer, or if your vision is so bad, we have software programs and things that like you can put it in and it will read your mail for you. So it's very interesting.
That is
And
interesting.
we also then have the opportunity, many of the devices can be loaned. So people can take them home, see, does it really work for them before they go out and purchase something
one,
like
right.
that. We also have a computer refurbishing center. And actually some of your members of SCAN are wonderful volunteers who come in and they refurbish computers that are donated to us.
Excellent.
And then we put those computers back out into the community specifically for people who may have a disability, developmental disability or an aging disability, and who cannot afford a computer. We're not going to give out computers to the entire population because
Right,
it's too many.
sure.
But there is that
That's great.
availability as well, and we ask only a $20 charge. You know, if someone can make that donation, that's fine. But then we set it up for them,
Wow, that's great.
and it's ready to be used.
That's really fantastic. And, you know, having the demonstration center is so key because, as you said, a lot of folks are, you know, not ready to make that investment yet. They want to make sure they're
Right.
doing the right thing. And you mentioned they can see it and all that, but can they also order items through you, or do you
We
assist them
can.
with that at least? So
Yes.
they,
Yes.
you know, because that's the next question is, well, where do they go to get these items,
That's
right,
right.
and all that. So.
Well, and what's really interesting is that there's a line of products. And if someone needs a particular device, you can get a device for maybe free or $50, and you can get that same type of a device for $6,000. Now, if you go to a particular vendor because they're selling their product, they're going to say, this $6,000 device is what you really need. When in fact, you can come to our center for free, try it out, and then realize, oh, you really only need the $50 item. Or
Right, you don't need all the
you don't
bells
need
and
anything. We
whistles.
can adjust your computer to do
Yes.
the work even. So there's a real benefit to people to come in and see and try it out. And one of our specialists, our computer specialist, assistive technology specialist, will be there with them to guide them through the process and to try out different things and make those kind of recommendations.
That's really remarkable. That's a wonderful service that you provide.
Yeah.
And as you
you.
say, probably a lot of people, not as many people know about it as you'd
Right.
like, which is why we're here.
Sorry.
But it is great.
Yeah.
I'm pretty impressed because I didn't know about all these different services that you offer.
Yes.
So that's my wheels are spinning, especially being involved with SCAN, as you
Right.
mentioned. Even though we have volunteers there's also a lot here that folks that probably could use those services.
Yes. Yes.
So,
and that's the biggest stumbling block. People don't realize that we're here. We're New Jersey's largest assistive technology center in the state. And, you know, just coming here in Shrewsbury, they can try it out. It's pretty accessible to people in Monmouth County.
Yeah, right. And where in Shrewsbury is it?
We're on 35 Haddon Avenue,
Okay.
which is just diagonally behind Dunkin' Donuts on the corner of Route 35 and 520.
Gotcha. All right, so maybe you can give us all the contact information if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. So the address again is 35 Haddon Avenue in Shrewsbury, New Jersey.
Great.
Phone number is 732-747-5310.
Very good.
And our web address is frainc.org.
And again, there's a lot of good programming there, so I'm hoping our
Yes.
viewers can really take advantage of that
Yes.
and reach out to you because
Yeah.
why not? That's what you're there
Right.
for. You're there to help them. So
Yes.
that's really
And we
phenomenal.
always need volunteers. Seniors are such a wonderful resource as well
Yes.
that people can help us. I mean, we have a clothing drive that we take good used clothing, or they can help us even make phone calls to reach out to the community to get those clothes. And
Right.
we need people who might help on committees
Right,
for
sure.
PR. I mean, there's a lot of skilled people
Yes.
or board
Yes, looking for
members
something to
we
do.
need who, people who are looking maybe to help in one
Yes.
direction or another, or with our classes for our young adults. And we've so outgrown our space, we're looking for a new building. And so there's
Wow.
always people who have different skills and contacts.
Right, right.
You
And
never know where
of
to
course,
find.
they could always use that contact information to make donations as well, right? I'm sure.
Absolutely.
As most nonprofits, you know, you
Yeah.
just really need that
Yeah.
extra assistance out there. But
Yes.
but that's wonderful. So have you been with the organization how many years? Since
35 years.
Since the beginning, right?
Yes.
You were 7.
I started,
you were 7
I was
years
going to say
old?
12, thank you. Yes.
That's great. Really,
Yes.
it's remarkable. So
Yes.
you've seen the whole transformation over
Yes.
all those years.
Yeah.
And it's nice that you can maneuver and you're flexible enough to really meet the needs as they come along, right?
And that's what makes us so unique. I mean, we are really very responsive to the community's needs. Families just contacted us in May and said, please, we can't continue driving to your adult classes up in Eatontown or Shrewsbury. Can't you start something in Brick? And so October 6th, we just opened a program.
That's
Center
great.
location down in Brick.
That's
But being
that's-
responsive is really
Yes.
important, and it keeps you abreast of what the community is instead of what I think it should be. We can
Right.
find out what they're really thinking.
And the
needs are.
location in Brick, just out of curiosity?
Is on, it's actually, you can see us from Route 70. It's St.
Okay.
Thomas Lutheran Church.
Oh,
but
yes,
the
okay.
actual address is 135 Salmon Avenue.
Gotcha. It's a
Yeah.
little side street there?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. That's a nice
And
location.
over time, we'll look to open the Assistive Technology Center down there so that community
Your Ocean County
seniors can
folks,
people
yes. As
get
we
to
know,
there.
Ocean County's got a lot of seniors, so.
Yes,
we wanna
and a
make sure-
lot of lack of services.
Yes,
so,
yeah, right.
Yeah, it's
now.
harder for them.
Gotcha. That's
Yeah.
great. Well, that's pretty impressive. And then the other location you said, I know you said Shrewsbury, you said Brick, and then
Eatontown.
Eatontown, okay.
Yeah.
And where's that? What's the address there? Just out of curiosity.
It's actually 410 Industrial Way West.
Okay.
And so we are renting out 4 rooms where we have a studio apartment, it's a teaching studio apartment,
Okay.
and a computer lab, and a job sampling kind of room, and then another classroom.
Excellent.
So that gives the students a lot of opportunity to move around and try different things.
Right, that's great. Well, you really do provide a lot of great services. You certainly have a broad area that you're serving, which is great. And to have the facilities, as you mentioned, the new one that just opened in Brick is great. So you're handling, folks both Monmouth and Ocean County, which is
Right.
important. I really have to commend you for all that.
Well, thank you.
That's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And now, as this executive director of this great organization, you must really be proud of what you've been able to accomplish over the years.
I am, and it's also exciting. You know, it's
Yeah.
exciting because another thing that's so unique is our families, we started with 30 families, and of the 30 families, about 23 of them are still involved.
Wow, that's
So
remarkable.
that over time, we've had the opportunity to take babies who were 2 weeks old,
That's great.
who had Down syndrome or cerebral palsy, and now they've become our ambassadors. And
That's
they go
great.
out on speaking engagements with us, and they help out, and
terrific.
it's really exciting to
Well,
see that.
I really want to thank you for your time. It was great having you here with
Thank
us.
you.
We
Thanks so
appreciate it. Lots of luck in the future. And now we're going to break for a very important commercial. Come back.
Now's a great time to make your home more energy efficient, and the New Jersey Natural Gas Save Green project is here to help. Take advantage of rebates and incentives up to $15,000, designed to make your whole house more comfortable, improve performance, and save you money. Upgrade your older, inefficient heating equipment, central air conditioning system, and water heater with money-saving, high-efficiency equipment. But don't stop there. Your new equipment will have to work harder, wasting energy dollars if your home is not properly weatherized by reducing air and duct leaks and installing proper insulation. Call the Save Green Project at 877 455-NJNG or visit SaveGreenProject.com, and we'll help you get on the road to maximum energy efficiency and savings and explain how you may qualify for up to $15,000 in rebates and incentives. Call Save Green at 877-455-NJNG.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Tom Hayes and I'm your host for Community Connections, SCANS program, where we try to get out there and let you know about all the wonderful nonprofits out there working in our community. Today, we're very fortunate to have with us Susan Collin, who's the second vice president on the Board of Trustees for the wonderful Ronald McDonald House. So, Susan, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you, Tom. It's a great opportunity.
Oh, yeah, it's great. And I think we can tell the audience that I happen to serve on that board with you, so I know a little bit about the organization, and I certainly know how wonderful you are. And I want to tell the world that you really do a great job, and you're hardworking, and you're probably one of the most dedicated board members that I've witnessed in the many years I've been involved with that board.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So there it is. I said it to the general public.
You're awesome. You are too, though.
Oh, stop. But so tell us a little bit about the organization. Where's it located?
We're located we actually have two houses. We're in Long Branch on Bath Avenue and in New Brunswick. We're right on the campus of the Monmouth Medical Center. And in New Brunswick, we're within walking distance to two hospitals, Robert Wood Johnson and Children's Specialized Hospital. We also have family rooms in 4 different hospitals, Jersey Shore and Central State. And we have a beautiful new mother nursing suite in St. Peter's.
In New Brunswick,
in New
right.
Brunswick. We're very fortunate at the house because we have the opportunity to provide a real safe environment for families with seriously ill children who are going through treatment, whether it's daily, weekly, sometimes monthly. And we provide, it's a true home away from home. We have just a great opportunity when mom or dad are with their child at bedside for the other family members and siblings to be at our home and really feel like they're at home.
Right. Which is great, right? To be so close to your child that's dealing with whatever medical issue they're dealing with.
It's a great opportunity for our families, and a lot of people don't realize that we are purely funded on both professionally, corporations support us, as well as the individual. Our owner-operators do support us. They're very generous. And when I say owner-operators, the owner-operators of the McDonald's restaurants. Many people think Ronald McDonald House charities underwrite everything for the houses. They don't. They're supportive, but they don't. We actually strive and volunteer and work very hard for every penny that comes in.
Right. And really, it's a labor of love. There's a lot of great people around that house, so to speak, trying to make sure that it keeps running so well and smoothly and continuing to provide those wonderful services. Right?
It does. You have a feeling that it's a home. It's not a hotel. It's not an environment where there's the omen of illness. It is truly an environment that is bred by us, you included, and our family members and extended volunteers with the love and the caring, because it doesn't matter whether or not the child is seriously ill or it's the grandma that's staying there taking care of the siblings because mom's in the hospital with a preemie. You know, people don't realize that that's just as devastating as it is, even though it's a birth, it's as a terminal illness.
Right, and mom's not there, so to have the kids close to mom and be able to visit mom and still be taken care of.
And allow dad to go to work and travel back and forth, whether it's close or far. We do have families that travel very far as well as internationally to come in and stay because we have the ability to have them stay at our homes and they get the treatment that they need.
Right. Now, how long has been the Ronald McDonald House of the Long Branch?
In Long Branch, we opened that in 1987. And that was a true effort from Monmouth Medical Center support, the doctors, the owner-operators, local, as well as a true group of volunteers that got together. And some of them are still with us and still supporting us. Some of them are emeritus, but they've been there, and they worked very hard for a very long time, as you know.
Yes, absolutely. And Monmouth Medical donated that building, right?
Yes, they did.
Which is great.
It used to be, the little true fact, it used to be the dormitory for nurses who were going to school.
Amazing, right?
Yeah,
That's pretty great. So what is the primary mission of the Ronald McDonald House? You sort of touched on it, right?
It's really to give a safe home environment for families who have a child who's seriously ill. and they're receiving some type of care, whether, again, daily, weekly, monthly. And it gives everyone an opportunity to be in, they could have dinner. We have a great kitchen facility. They could have dinners with other families or by themselves, or they could have family members come in and have dinner with them because their child's in the hospital, and it could be for a great length of time.
Right. And for our viewers, what are the requirements for a family to be able to stay at a Ronald McDonald House?
They have to live further than 10 miles away from the location of the house. So that would be either Bath Avenue in Long Branch or up in New Brunswick, or they have to just have the ability. See, the hard part right now is some children don't necessarily need to be in-house in the hospital all the time for treatment. Sometimes they just go into a clinic situation, and they're in there for 24 hours. But mom just drove 7 hours from Virginia, let's say. That's definitely someone we're going to take in and give them the room for the night if we have the room available.
Right, and so the point is often it's long-term situations, but it can be an overnight in that scenario. And as you said, as there's spaces available, which is important, and that's why we raise money, so if we need to expand, we can help more families, all those types of things, right? So that's pretty important. So how do we get our funding, or how do you get your funding?
We have some annual events. We have an annual appeal that goes out every November. We have an annual golf outing, and we have an annual walk. And then we have other different fundraising events during the course of a year. Our golf outing is always very, very supported highly by our owner-operators, which is great. We have a wine tasting. We have a couple different smaller events, a boat cruise. We have a Mother's Day garden tea party for moms and grandparents, which is a small event, but we've really built some awareness for that and starting to become more popular. And then we have companies like yours that come out and support us and do things in kind. They come out every spring and clean out and do our spring planting for us. It's little, but it's huge in the big picture. It helps our bottom dollar. And our owner-operators are very supportive.
Which is great. They are a great bunch of folks, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They're individuals that own the McDonald's restaurants, and they choose to donate to us. It's a very unique situation. Many people think that all those pennies that go into those boxes in the restaurants come to us, and they don't.
Right. It's interesting, right? Because you would assume that, but they don't. And again, they go to the general concept and to help the overall
for the charities.
Managing of the charities, but they don't go to the individual homes, and that's where the fundraising really comes in.
Absolutely.
Very important. And again, now you've been involved how long?
Well, my daughter is going to be 17, so I've been involved for the past 15 years.
Which is great. Yeah, it's great. And a lot of our board members have been there a long time.
Absolutely.
And then when we expanded into New Brunswick, we brought on new folks from the New Brunswick area too.
Yeah, we have a board of about 22 people right now. It's split between the Middlesex County and Monmouth County, and we're working towards going a little bit further north too. We're looking for some support from northern New Jersey. Our biggest challenge right now is getting volunteers and building awareness of what we do. People just think, oh, it's on the hospital campus, so they pay for it, and that's not.
Right.
That's not unfortunately, that's not the way it happens.
Right. And I know we use volunteers for a lot of different things. Even folks have come in and painted rooms and donated furniture and all to do a room to the kind of their design, that sort of thing, as long as it fits with the motif of the house and all that, right? So the volunteers, of course, play a huge role in our daily activities.
We need to build our volunteer base a little bit more. Right now, we're looking for some experience. We need some people who have some basic experience in technology, in some of the trades. A plumber, the general handy people.
Right.
Anyway, people who have any type of experience in office, answering the phones, helping us send out mailings and generating different mailing lists and working within our database.
Right.
I know there's volunteers out there, and we definitely could use their expertise, as well as with our events. It's great when we have an event pulled together, and you have all these new volunteers that come in and say, "Oh, this is great. This is fun."
Right, and it is fun, and
it is fun.
And I think that's the magic of volunteering at the Ronald McDonald House, is that you're helping families that are really in a bind and really having a tough time, and dealing with sometimes very tragic situations that they're trying to help their child get better and all that. So they're focused on that. So the volunteers can really be in there and support those families by being volunteers, doing all the other things that need to be done to keep them engaged and keep them happy, and doing all the things that they can do. I know there's families and groups or organizations come in and cook dinners for the families.
We call it our caring cooks, and what we like to have is a caring cook group come in almost every night of the week if it's possible. We do have some great local restaurants that will call up and they'll volunteer to do a Sunday dinner, or they kick off to football season and do a tailgate party, which is fantastic. But our caring cook groups, like different school groups and different other organizations, will come in and say, we want to make dinner every Wednesday night for the month of March. Fantastic. And they'll do a theme, whether it's pasta night, Mexican night, Chinese, and it gives our families a great opportunity to interact with local people and to see what's going on that they would not normally do because they're in the hospital with their sick child.
Right, which is really phenomenal. I know our volunteers from our company do get a thrill out of doing the flower planting every year. It's like, it's our thing, and they can't wait to get out there and do that.
It is their thing, and now it's very impressive because you can't interrupt them because they know exactly what they're doing, and they're meticulous about it. So it might be a hobby, it might be a work day, but it's not really a work day for them.
Yeah, it's
giving back.
They're proud of the work that they do, and they're happy to see that they're doing something to lighten up the facility, and it's such a beautiful facility. The kitchen is spectacular. The porches, wrapping around porches, the yard, the little playgrounds, and the playroom downstairs, right, and little computer room, all that. It's really got a lot. So folks would have their own room, right, and yet be able to use all the other facilities and services of the house. Which is great, and it's Long Branch, so people coming from other areas of the country that don't get to go to the ocean much are really steps away from the ocean, which is another beautiful aspect of that location and being at Monmouth Medical Center.
Absolutely.
Right, and the New Brunswick home, and again, as you mentioned, is very close to the hospitals up there too. So the convenience is spectacular. And what's the cost involved for families?
We charge $10 a night.
Which is,
If they can't afford it, then obviously we take care of that. But that's all. It's just $10 a night.
Right, which is amazing, right? So now, if somebody wanted to donate or somebody wanted to volunteer, is there some contact information you can provide?
Absolutely. The Ronald McDonald House, we're located at 131 Bath Avenue, Long Branch, New Jersey. And the phone number is 732-222-8755. And we have great volunteers. So if somebody wants to just call and say, can I do this? Our volunteers who answer will be happy to direct them in the right direction.
It's just great. It's really important. And it's really nice that we do have a great staff also at the Ronald McDonald House. We don't want to neglect mentioning how wonderful they are, right? They
keep the day-to-day operations as well as they deal with our families, which is the most important part.
Right. They're very loving, caring, kind people that work hard.
Yep.
And it's probably not the most, you won't get the best pay there, but you really get a lot of recognition.
You get a great feeling.
Yes, you're really doing some great things.
It's a very thankful job.
Yeah, I agree. It's great people. So I just really want to thank you again for all your time that you've spent with the house itself, and for you taking your time out of your busy day to be here today with us.
Welcome.
So it's really wonderful to have you here. And again, the Ronald McDonald House, needs anybody that can volunteer or provide funding.
Absolutely.
So it can continue its wonderful mission of really helping those families with children that are hurting. Right? So keep up the good work, keep up all your hard work with all the volunteer efforts and all the work you do. And again, thank you for being here on behalf of the Ronald McDonald House.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, and thank you for watching. We appreciate it.